The Eagles and Chiefs are about to step into a fight the league cannot ignore. It is not just a rematch, it is payback, pressure, and pride colliding under one spotlight. Every injury update, every sideline whisper has made this game feel less like week 2 and more like a showdown the whole season is built around. Philadelphia enters with their star receiver caught in the storm. AJBrown had just one catch last week and it shook the city. Was it bad planning, tough coverage, or something deeper? Nobody has a clear answer, but the questions will not stop until he delivers. On the other side, Kansas City limps in without their best weapon. Their wide receiver room is thin, their depth tested, and Mahomes knows the weight is on his shoulders. He has carried this team before, but this stage is different. It is the team that embarrassed him last February. This game feels like a coin flip with sparks attached. One side wants revenge, the other wants respect, and both need answers. And the story begins with AJBrown standing in the middle of it all. AJBrown has become the headline no player wants after week 1. One of the most feared receivers in football was limited to a single target, and the questions hit fast. Fans asked if he was hurt. Critics asked if he was ignored, and the noise has not stopped since. For a star of his caliber, silence on the stat sheet speaks louder than any highlight. The problem for Philadelphia is simple. When AJBrown disappears, their offense changes. Defenses know it, coaches know it, and now the league knows it. Dallas exposed a weakness, and the film is out there for everyone to copy. The rematch with Kansas City will show if the Eagles can fix it, or if opponents keep following the same script. Brown himself is not hiding from the spotlight. He has told anyone listening that coverage rolled his way all night, that he was never taken out of the game mentally. Still, in a results-driven league, explanations mean little without production. Every drop back on Sunday will bring more eyes to his number. The Eagles need Brown to be more than a decoy. They need him to tilt the field again, to punish defenses even when he draws extra help. And until he does, the doubt will keep rising. That is why this week feels like a make-or-break moment in his season. AJBrown has heard the talk, and he has not stayed quiet. He explained that Dallas built its entire plan around him, shading coverage to his side on nearly every snap. That kind of respect shows his value, but it also turned him into the center of every debate. He made it clear he was never just standing around. His presence changed how the Cowboys played every down. Even with that defense aimed at him, Brown reminded everyone he still found ways to matter. Other receivers got chances because the field tilted his way, and he accepted that role without pointing fingers at teammates or coaches. For a star in his position, that answer carried weight because it showed focus instead of frustration. Still, no explanation erases bottom line. Fans want the ball in his hands, and the team needs him producing points. Brown's words may calm some doubters, but the scoreboard will be the only proof that matters. He knows every target in the coming game will be judged harder than ever. That is what makes this rematch dangerous for Kansas City. A motivated receiver with something to prove is often the hardest player to stop. Brown has been challenged, and now he has the chance to flip the story in one afternoon. All eyes are not only on the players, but also on the man holding the call sheet. Kevin Patullo's debut as the Eagles' offensive coordinator left more questions than answers. His play calls leaned safe, his runs looked predictable, and the attack stalled when it mattered most. For a team built on firepower, that approach did not sit well. The numbers told the story. Repeated pistol sets produced little yardage, and the rhythm of the offense slowed down. Defenders guessed what was coming, and the surprise element vanished. In a league where creativity wins games, Philadelphia cannot afford to look this flat again. The challenge for Patullo is clear. He has to open the playbook, stretch the field, and trust his weapons to break defenses. Playing cautious against a team like Kansas City is not a path to victory. It's an open door for Mahomes to take control. Every coordinator faces a first test, and this one is Patullo's. If he shows growth and balance, the Eagles' offense can rise back to form. If not, the questions about his readiness will only grow louder after Sunday. The Cowboys may have given the league a playbook on how to slow Philadelphia. By sitting in soft zones and keeping everything in front, they forced Hurts into shorter throws and kept AJBrown from exploding downfield. At the same time, their front clogged running lanes and bottled up Barkley, something few teams have managed. The question now is whether that game was a one-off or the start of a pattern. Defenses across the league are watching, eager to see if the Eagles struggle again with the same formula. If the approach works a second time, it becomes more than a strategy. It becomes a weakness other teams can exploit. Complicating matters further is the loss of Dallas Goedert. He was Hurts' most reliable option against Dallas, and without him, the offense loses a steady chain mover in the middle of the field. Replacing his production won't be simple, especially in a game of this magnitude. That leaves the Eagles at a crossroads. Either they find ways to break the blueprint and prove they can adjust, or they risk entering a stretch of games where every defense attacks them the same way. The answer comes in Kansas City. Kansas City is not walking into this game at full strength. Their top young receiver, Xavier Worthy, is nursing a shoulder injury and is unlikely to suit up. For a team already thin at wideout, losing its most explosive option is a major blow. Without Worthy, Mahomes is left with names like Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Taquan Thornton. Solid veterans, yes, but not the type to scare a secondary built for big moments. Defenses compress tighter, and the Chiefs lose that deep threat who forces coverage to back off. This shifts even more pressure on Mahomes. He has pulled off wins with less talent before, but against a defense as aggressive as Philadelphia's, the margin shrinks. Every drive becomes a grind when the field can't be stretched. The Chiefs know what happened the last time these teams met. Mahomes got buried under constant pressure. Without Worthy to relieve him, the risk of a repeat looms large heading into Sunday. Philadelphia has not stood still after its shaky opener. The front office added pass rushers to Darius Smith, and he's expected to line up against rookie left tackle Josh Simmons. It's a matchup that could tilt the game, because one mistake in protection against Smith often ends with the quarterback on the ground. The Eagles also introduced rookie running back Tank Bigsby into the mix. He's already taken snaps on kick return duty, giving Philadelphia a spark in special teams where field position often decides tight games. Even if his role on offense is small, one big return could change momentum in an instant. Behind the scenes, the roster churn has continued. Defensive tackle Gabe Hall was released and re-signed within a day, showing how closely the coaching staff is managing depth across the line. Every adjustment points to a team preparing for a long fight, not just a single week. These moves show Philadelphia's intent. They are arming themselves with every tool available, making sure fresh legs and new energy are ready to hit the field when the spotlight is brightest in Kansas City. Jaylen Carter's suspension put him under the harshest spotlight of his young career. Questions about his discipline and focus surfaced quickly, and many wondered how he would respond once he returned to the field. Instead of shrinking, Carter delivered the kind of practices that turned heads inside the building. Teammates spoke about his apology and his effort, calling him more locked in than ever before. Coaches praised his energy, noting he looked like the same disruptive force that once anchored the defensive front. For a team needing answers, his renewed focus could not come at a better time. The Eagles front office also made a choice that mattered. They could have used contract clauses to penalize him, but instead showed faith, keeping their belief in his long-term future. That gesture signaled trust, and now the responsibility sits with Carter to reward it on the field. All of it sets the stage for his return against Kansas City. If Carter channels that fire into this game, he may become the difference maker in a rematch already loaded with storylines. For Philadelphia, his redemption could double as their edge. Blessings to all my Red Zone Report subscriber family. Your support means everything. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and I'll catch you in the next one.